Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to the war room. We got Dev.
What up, though?
Kill, Jimmy, PJ, B. Austin, the hot block commander. Give it to you how you want it in the 1 or 2 hour show to keep the brain running with the premise to talk sports on a national level. Bold with the topics, sort of like some rebels when it's game time. They like the Fab Five during prime time. Supposed to be moderate to speak their minds a little bit. For sports medicine and sports veterans and greats. The 4th and 26th, so the war in Kuwait. It's the war room with 5 nights at the round table. 5 Philly guys diversified and educated.
What up, War Room Nation? You are once again live in the War Room, brought to you by War Room Sports on the WRS Podcast Network. I'm Devin McMillan, and I'm at the round table as usual with my brothers, Jimmy the Blueprint and B. Austin. We got a great show for you today, but, you know, that's what we do. The NBA playoffs are chugging right along. Tebow Mania has hit home, literally. We'll give our NBA awards and much more. In about 30 minutes, Nakasha Wells of Total Life Changes will join us to tell you guys how to lose weight quickly, so you don't want to miss that. Then we'll hear from Fred Perdue of College Football Extra with his post-spring practice report. So keep it locked right here. And if you want to get in on a live conversation, join us right now in the JW Philly Realty chat room at blogtalkradio.com/The War Room, or join us on Facebook or Twitter at War Room Sports. You can also call us directly when we open up the Digital Extreme Tech hotline at 323-410-0012, and that'll be in about 45 minutes after we get our guest on. But right now, we want to shout out the great hosts that make the War Room Sports Podcast Network go. So when we're not live on the air, visit warroomsports.com and click the WRS Podcast Network tab, or listen on the War Room Sports mobile app or on iTunes. You'll find some of the best shows, sports and non-sports, that the web has to offer, such as Broad Street Line with Roy and Chris, After Further Review with the Mayor, the Tissue and the Tape Hip-Hop Show with Phil and Savad, Sports Trap Radio with Brandon and Anthony, Hoop Girls Radio, Bump and Run for all you NASCAR fans out there, the Mad Scientist Sports Lab, and a whole lot more. You can also check the listings at fatsradio.com, that's P-H-A-T-Z, radio.com, for air times of all your favorite WRSPN sports shows, including our show, The War Room, which airs over there several times per week. What up, homies? I got a quick question for y'all before we start, man. Have either of you good brothers ever been banned from a public library?
No, I mean, I owe one some money for some, I think it was a Huckleberry Finn. But other than that, no.
He was on your Seinfeld, John, where he owed the library money after like 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
Man,
but the difference is, like, after like 20 years, the bill was like $6.
I was asking because, I mean, y'all know why I'm asking, but I don't know how many people out there in the audience heard this story that I think Jimmy brought to our attention earlier in the week. There was a guy. You remember what part of the U.S. he was in, Jim?
Yo, I don't even remember, but where he at, it doesn't matter because they, what they did to him.
Yeah, well, there was a guy who was caught in a library somewhere relieving himself, and I'm not talking about his bowels. He was yanking himself in a public library, and I don't even know if I want to say get caught because, Jim, by the sounds of the story, it didn't sound like he cared too much. But the consequences of his action, a judge ordered that he be banned from all libraries on earth for the rest of his life. Now, does a judge have the jurisdiction to ban somebody from every library on earth? Like, why do they do that?
Evidently, this one does.
Yo, he really overstepped his boundaries because he didn't even say like his state or even his country for that matter. He said earth. Like, really?
He said earth. Yo, he can't go to the library because Kazakhstan or somewhere like that. Like, yeah, that's crazy.
Yo,
that
they going to enforce that though?
Banned from every library on earth. I wonder why he chose the library to do something like that in the first place. But
he was trying to get knowledge itself.
Maybe he had to read a book on how to get it done, and he decided to do it in the library. I don't know, man. But before this goes way left, Jimmy, let everybody know what happened this week while they were on the grind.
Yes, sir. to those who may be living under a rock while you are on the grind is brought to you by DirecTV. If you'd like a better TV experience than cable has to offer, including the NFL Sunday Ticket, go to our website, warroomsports.com. Click on that DirecTV logo and order a better TV experience at a discounted War Room Sports sign-up rate. If you call yourself a sports fan, you gotta have DirecTV. Oh man, first sports story, man. B. Austin's cousin, Floyd Money Mayweather, says that he is the greatest fighter of all time, which includes him being greater than Ali. He mentioned a couple guys specifically by name, Sugar Ray Robinson and Ali, because those two gentlemen's name always comes up when we talk about like the all-time greatest. And he did mention him and said there's no way anybody could tell him that they're better than him. I'll give you my brief thoughts. People saw what I thought about it based on the social media post that I had put up, and a lot of people responded to it or what have you. But even if we're talking strictly boxing, because he's not outside the ring, there's no comparison. But even from strictly from a pugilistic standpoint, I don't agree with him. But here's what I will say: he should feel that way. But it's just certain guys who you gotta leave the name out your mouth, B. Like, yeah, you just don't mention Ali, man. Like, there's certain dudes you just leave alone. Like, you can say I'm the best, but you don't have to mention him specifically by name. I mean, that in itself shows you his greatness, that you feel as though you have to, but you're supposed to believe in yourself. But leave Ali alone, B.
All right. Well, before I give you my sentiments, I definitely want to, tell Floyd,
stay away from the crack.
All right. So after giving him that little tidbit of advice, like Jimmy said, people are supposed to feel that way, but I still think when he talks and when he talked about this particular subject, I think that he still toes the line of disrespect, because there's some things you can say to let people know that you believe in yourself and you think you're the best. And then there's certain paths that you can go down where people are going to be like, you're trying to take a little swipe at Muhammad Ali there. And I'll read some of the comments right quick. He said, no one can ever brainwash me to make me believe that Sugar Ray Robinson and Muhammad Ali were better than me. But one thing I will do, he did give him some respect. He said, I'm going to take my hat off to those guys and respect those guys because they're the guys that paved the way for me. But then he started to dig a little bit. He said, Leon Spinks beat Ali when he had 7 fights. They're never going to put a fighter in there with Floyd Mayweather with 7 fights. So you're going to tell me that it's cool to lay on the ropes and take punishment and let a man tire himself out from beating you, and then he basically fatigued. You hit him with a few punches and he go down and quit, and you want to be glorified for that. So it's like, okay, you on one hand you said you want to show these guys respect, but then you finished the conversation by taking a couple of digs at Ali's strategy and the the Rumble in the Jungle, taking digs at the fact that he lost to Spinks. And I saw some more parts of the conversation that a lot of people haven't even been talking about, because they're saying, well, he didn't say anything that bad, but he said some more stuff in different interviews where I think he was trying to clear himself up, but made things even worse, where he kept on that whole Spinks thing. And he mentioned how many fights Ali lost compared to how many he lost. But like B. Austin is probably going to tell everybody, there's context to that. Like, you're not fighting heavyweights, and you're not fighting the greats that are everything.
Listen, and the thing is, on my personal IG page at JW Blueprint, I had like a lot of debate going on with this. There's context to that. Ali fought, and I actually looked this up yesterday. I looked at WBC's website, WBA. I looked at the boxing rankings, right? So I'm trying to figure out who's the greatest of all time, right? And a lot of them didn't even have Ali, but that's neither here nor there. The one thing that they did show was a lot of Ali's opponents are considered in the top 10 to 20 of all time. There's not one Floyd opponent other than Oscar, who he fought at the end of his career,
outside of his prime. Yeah, right.
Who's considered a top 20 fighter of all time. Like, you talk about guys like Joe Frazier. You talk about guys like George Foreman. Sonny Liston. Guys that he fought. It's ridiculous. These are guys who, in their own right, are legends. His resume is just, and like I told people, Ken Norton, like, just brought up in our chat room, like, Ken Norton hit Ali with one punch and broke his jaw. Floyd is fighting people who are smaller than the average woman in America, like, and that's no disrespect because this is pound for pound, but like, there's context to everything, man. There's context. Most of Ali's losses, he revenged in the later fight. He fought Norton 3 times. Like,
the entire premise of his statement is sheer and utter disrespect and dishonorable intention. And for that,
Chuck, they must be on the pipe, right?
exactly. My man Flavor broke it down. I'm not gonna dignify this dude because at the end of the day, pound for pound, he's the best in the last 10 years. Might be the best in the last 15. There's no arguing that. But like, for me to go too much further into this with my intellect is dignifying this dude, and I just can't abide that.
You should be ashamed of yourself. The way you carry yourself.
And I want to make
Shame
another
on you.
statement,
Shame.
just in reference to Floyd and just in general, right? We have debates about who's the greatest in pretty much every and anything, whether we're talking quarterback, football team. We have basketball debates,
Curling. Cricket.
People refuse to admit that Kareem is the GOAT. But listen, here's the one thing I can say about a guy like Michael Jordan, right? Michael Jordan calls himself the greatest, as he should, but he never has to down another great player to call himself great. Like, he bigs up Magic, he bigs up a Bird,
Yeah, I mean,
while giving
we
himself
have-
credit.
We have the greatest
Yo.
sports podcast in the history of planet Earth and all surrounding universes. But I have a lot of respect for everybody else who does it. Like,
Yeah.
that's not knocking
Yeah,
anybody else.
absolutely.
That's just telling y'all what it is.
We big the competition up. I'm gonna say one other thing though, like, and you guys may or may not believe, or may not support this or believe as I do, but you can't be the greatest if you can't knock me the F out. And there's no
But be
way
honest.
that Floyd Mayweather can knock me the F out at 140
Be honest, like,
pounds.
I'm even beyond.
I'm
like,
not
the
letting
specifics of it.
Muhammad Ali in his prime hit me. I'm not. I'll let
It's like
Floyd.
the psychology behind it. When you have to constantly bring people in and down them, it kind of makes it like
Yeah.
you don't believe what you're saying.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Too
You
much
come
about this cornball.
That's a great point. That's it. Right there.
You know what I'm saying? And the last point I want to make about this is for those who have HBO. The other day, which is just mysteriously that has happened. I was watching on demand HBO. They have a documentary on Sugar Ray Robinson, and I happened to be watching this the day before Floyd opened his mouth. And yo, my man has 173 wins and 110 by knockout.
Yeah, he was
Come on,
working.
cuz. yo,
Floyd-
yo,
Sugar Ray
Yo.
Robinson was working like, they
Yo.
told him his family
Sugar-
couldn't eat.
yo, Sugar Ray Robinson fought like
He was
3
on Fight
times in
Night.
like 25 days, yo.
Yo, they told
title
his family
fight.
they couldn't eat unless there was a fight night. So he tried to fight every other night so they can have a
title
good
fight. So, and when you watch that story, you see why. In Ali's opinion, he believes that Sugar Ray was his idol. He believes he's the greatest. So, but it's a reason why those two guys' names are the ones that always comes up. But and the thing is, this is no knock on Floyd's skills, because Floyd definitely is a skilled fighter. But it's just there's certain people you just leave alone, man. You don't bring up Ali like that. We didn't even get into the other stuff that Ali stands for. But let's move on nonetheless. Let's get into this. Legendary coach and also executive in the NBA, Pat Riley, took a couple shots at LeBron when giving his team to close out press conference for the season. What did you guys think about this? Dev, you got the exact quote?
What he said was because a reporter asked him, what direction is or if the Heat organization could affect his approach to the draft, how are they going to go about the draft and in the offseason this year? And Pat Riley told the guy, well, no more smiling faces with hidden agendas around. Of course, taking a shot at LeBron James, because I don't know if you guys remember last season when they drafted Shabazz Napier, LeBron was all over Twitter during the draft and was saying how much he liked Shabazz Napier. The Heat took Shabazz Napier. He said they got the best guard in the draft and all that kind of stuff, and was saying all this positive stuff. And then a week later, he basically wrote his little resignation letter saying, I'm going back home to Cleveland. So, Pat Riley, I mean, you would be a little salty, but by now you got to just let that go. He's gone. Let it go.
B. Austin?
No more smiling faces with hidden agendas.
No more smiling faces. Yeah, I think that Pat Riley is showing us emotion. I think Pat Riley is mad. You mad, as Cameron Giles would say. But he kind of is playing himself. he's playing himself by saying the only condition with which he could let go of those words and be semi all right is if the Heat were in the playoffs and in contention and headed to a showdown with the Cavs. But being that they had 37 wins and they're not in the playoffs, yo, you playing yourself, B.
Yo,
I'm
all I
not
want to
mad
say
at
is,
you. I don't think that it's a situation where you can't throw rocks at the king. You can throw rocks at the throne. He did play him out. I mean, both the times he exited, you know what I mean? He played Cleveland out real bad the first time. If you're going to leave and if you're thinking about leaving, tell him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Don't go around digging up the draft picks. And
here's my point, though. When he played Cleveland out like that, Pat Riley came to his defense and said he could do what he wants to do. He didn't play Cleveland out. So now he did it to you. You come
hypocrite out there. You're being sensitive, Pat Riley. That's a good point. I forgot about that because he was all on defense mode before.
Yeah, he was.
He did you the same way.
If you want to keep it G, if you would have called him out by name, I'd have gave you a pass. If you'd have been like that punk ass LeBron, if you'd have did that, then I might have rolled with you just having the gall to say that. But you sending little girly subliminal shots. You know what I mean?
He got bars, man. It actually takes more for you to say something and people have to get it and they get it. So
but my thing is the season is over, B. I can see you be stewing when the season starts.
That's why he mad.
You know what I'm saying?
He used to play. He's used to playing till June. He mad.
He mad.
If
He's
LeBron
very
was there, he'd still be playing.
This is true, man. This is true. Another story that dropped, speaking of LeBron and Nike, even though we didn't bring up Nike, but I want to make a nice segue, so I brought up Nike. Tiger Woods is a partner in an up-and-coming restaurant. A restaurant is getting ready to start. And his partner in the game says that Nike owns the name Tiger Woods. Like, they have to get permission to use his name. Tiger and Nike say it's not true, but there's, has to be some sort of fuel to this fire. Why would the guy come out of nowhere and say this? But who knows what the truth is? Do you guys believe it?
Because the restaurant is called The Woods Jupiter Sports and Dining Club. So the guy from Sports Illustrated asked him, why is the name so cumbersome? And that's when he told him that. He was like, look, man. He was like, he said Nike has the rights to the name Tiger Woods, which prevented them from using it. And he said any other business that they do, any other ventures, he always has to get permission from Woods' business people, to use his name in any press releases or anything like that. So it is kind of ironic that, he's saying one thing. Of course, Tiger's going to say, no, that's not true, because you don't want to be that embarrassed. Musicians are embarrassed when, a record company kept their publishing. But when your publishing comes in the form of your name and you can't use it when and how you please, that's very embarrassing. I checked it out. I don't know how reliable Snopes is, but, you can go there and check and see if things are true and false. They said it was false. Of course, Tiger's saying it's false, but who knows? There has to be something to it.
Yeah, man. I mean, my opinion on this matter is that there has to be something to it. I kind of would Tiger doesn't seem like the one thing he hasn't seemed like is a guy that doesn't handle his business since he's been a professional golfer or in the limelight, should I say. He seems like one, he's had his issues or whatever with the young ladies or what have you. But he seemed to have always handled his business from a financial standpoint. I can't see him giving ownership of his name.
That's too much.
Because he signed a Nike deal when his dad was alive, and I can't even see his dad.
So does that mean on documents he would have to write Nike's Tiger Woods? He signed a mortgage,
formerly known as Tiger.
Nike's Tiger Woods. Come on, man. Austin, would you give up your name for any amount of money?
Nah, probably not. But it depends. I mean, if them figures look, if there was,
you can have my slave name.
If you got a couple,
I was about to say, they can take my name because I'm gonna change mine to something else. JX or something.
Jabbar X or something.
Jim X. You can definitely buy my name. Anybody out there who want to cop my name, it is for sale.
Jim sound like he's selling that joint for $100,000.
Yo,
He let it go for
my
100.
name right now. It's for
I need a
sale.
couple dollars. Make me an offer.
I'll be JX tomorrow.
I got some bills coming. Make me an offer. All right. So
Yeah, man. So that's that story, man. But I did, you know, I don't see this. I don't see it, but you know, it's something to it. Got to be.
Cone to cane to.
Speaking of Stephon Marbury, as we weren't,
Toby.
Stephon Marbury is getting his own postage stamp in China. This guy's career has taken off since leaving the country. I know a lot of people like try to look down on that because we've been, you know, taught that our country is everything, and a lot of y'all never leave the country, so y'all don't realize. A lot of y'all never leave the country, so y'all don't realize that a lot of the propaganda we were told about other countries. But anyway, with that being said, Stephon Marbury has had a rejuvenation in his career, and he's arguably now a basketball Hall of Famer. But his own postage stamp, that's a big deal. I mean, put it like this: Wilt Chamberlain just got his own postage stamp here, and we know what he's meant to sports and the game of basketball and the game of yam farming overall. But he just got a stamp here. Steph is getting one while he's playing. So.
Yo, and he's getting one in China, so way
couple.
more people are going to see his stamp than who saw Wilt's stamp.
Yo, billions. Let me weigh in
Black
because
people bought Wilt's stamp anyway.
I'm having these dialogues all over social media where people, I believe, have been programmed to poop on Steph. I mean, I don't know whether it was him eating Vaseline. I don't know what. I've heard everything from that to his sneakers were too cheap. To, you know, he didn't look out for his brother and his cousin, to he was a selfish gunner, to just a plethora of things. But I want to point out a couple of facts. The gentleman averaged 19.3 points per game and 7.6 assists over his NBA career. In China, he averaged
That's only
25.
because Embiid. That's only because of the last few years when he fell out of favor and he wasn't really playing.
Yeah, he was up over 20. He was in the 20s.
He was 20-8 for his career. Really?
In China, he averages 25 and like 6.5. He's got 3 chips. He's got 2 MVPs and his own statue. Listen. It is not the NBA Hall of Fame. It's the Basketball Hall of Fame. So we asked the question, War Room Sports asked the question, you know, HOF or FOH, to the listeners, to the fans of the sport, to the people, to the world in general. And I'm not answering that question to say whether I do or don't believe he belongs in the Hall, but there's a lot of disrespectful MFers out here who need to reacquaint themselves with Stephon Marbury, man.
He has a very compelling case, and people are acting like it's disrespectful for us to even ask the question. You guys have basically said it all, man. He's had a rejuvenation of his career and his life because he was having suicidal thoughts, he said, when he was still in the U.S., and now he goes over to China and he's a god. So I shout out to Steph. Congratulations for everything that's happening to you over there. But I do have to give this to the country of China as a whole because I do, you know, idol worship and Richard writing and stuff.
Oh yeah, we don't support
I can't
that.
get behind. We don't really support that, so we have to give y'all
You
this.
should be ashamed of yourself. The way you carry yourself.
Yeah, y'all should be ashamed of yourself for the level of Richard Ridery going on with this one dude. It's good to have. I don't know. It's good for y'all to have a hero. I don't particularly deal in heroes,
but by the same token,
but it's too much, man. A stamp, a statue. Come on, he's just playing ball.
Yo, Steph is that guy.
He literally has 2 billion human beings on his balls, and for that, I got
Oh man!
Shout out to Philmatic from Tissue and Tape on Facebook. He says that Tiger does own his name, but Nike does have an exclusive first rights to use it. So you know, I guess it's a little bit of both.
Yo,
Tiger ain't got his own stamp.
Yo, when Steph wake up in the morning for practice, when Steph wake up in the morning for practice, he go in the bathroom and they be like,
"The royal penis is clean, Your Highness."
Yo,
Only it sounds like Kang Hao Pating King Tong.
Yeah, we gotta get.
I know
That's it. We about to get
kinds of
shut
right
down. We about to get shut down, man. We gotta go. All right,
Yo,
man.
man, give him some
Been
birthday
up a long
stuff, man.
time.
Yeltsin always
Cream
got to
with
get
some
us
young
in
guy.
trouble with the FCC, man. All right, listen. Do you or your business need a custom website? Well, for dynamic, professional, and most of all, affordable custom website solutions, you need Digital Extreme Technologies. No need to break the bank for an effective online presence. Top quality, results-driven websites at incredibly affordable prices. Financing options are available, so visit digitalextremetech.com or call 267-205-4203. And if you want to get the hookup, be sure to tell them that War Room Sports sent you. All right, now I hear all of y'all out there, talking about y'all got your own little businesses and stuff like that. I know y'all need a website. Stop trying to use Facebook pages as a website. So call Digital Extreme Tech or go to digitalextremetech.com or go to warroomsports.com.
Birthday, yay!
Let's give some birthday shout outs.
Cream with some young guy.
Marshawn Lynch, beast mode, turns 29. So shout out to Marshawn Lynch. Ken Dorsey, former Miami, former quarterback from the U. He was the quarterback of one of those teams that a lot of people thought had like the greatest talent of any college team of all time. From the U, yeah. So shout out to him. He turns 34 today. He's just not turning 34 as an NFL player. Shout out to Bimbo Coles, who turns 47 today. I never knew the story behind that. Like, why is that grown man's name Bimbo? Or even if it's a nickname, why is his name Bimbo? Did he ever ask that question? Or he just rolled with it? Shout out. He should be ashamed of himself. All right, shout out to Jeff Hostetler, Super Bowl winning quarterback with the New York Giants, filled in for Phil Simms, and he was cool, but I'm not gonna act like he was great. They had a great defense. He won a Super Bowl. This is his birthday, so I'm gonna stop dissing him right there. Shout out to him. He turns 54, and Spencer Haywood, former NBA, now I can say legend, I guess, because he did just get into the Hall of Fame. So former basketball legend Spencer Haywood turns 66 today. So we just like to give a nice big War Room salute to all of these folks on their birthdays.
My birthday, yay!
All right, so I'm gonna let you guys know how you can get in touch with us. Right on the other side of that, we are going to have one of our special guests, Nakasha Wells from Total Life Changes. She's going to tell you guys about the latest weight loss craze. I know everybody out there wants to lose weight. Summer is coming up. You got to get your beach body on, and she's going to let you know how to do it. And if you don't think she's qualified, go look at her pictures on social media. All right. Her
Man, I'm looking right now.
Her profile might be private. I don't know. But anyway, right on the other side of this, we're going to talk to Nakasha. You guys can check out our website at warroomsports.com. While you're there, be sure to sign up for the War Report. That's our company newsletter. Click on the Contact Us tab to send us a message about our company, our show, or to inquire about sponsorship and advertising opportunities, or joining our network. For general inquiries, email us at info@warroomsports.com. While you're browsing the site, click on the memorabilia tab to buy War Room Sports merchandise. Click the blog tab to read our latest articles in the All's Fair and Sports and War blog. Then click the respective icons and tabs to like our Facebook page, to follow us on Twitter, to subscribe to our iTunes podcast, to watch our webcast at War Room Sports TV, to listen to the WRS Podcast Network, and to download our free War Room Sports mobile app on Android and iOS to get everything I just mentioned right there on the go. Join the JW Philly Realty chat room right now during the show at blogtalkradio.com/the War Room. To enter the chat room, just sign up for a free profile on Blog Talk Radio. If you don't want to create an account, if you're too lazy to create an account, you can sign in through your Facebook and Twitter accounts, and while you're at it, click follow so you can get updates and reminders about the show. We'll be taking questions and reading posts from Facebook, Twitter, and the chat room during the show. If you want to call in and speak with us directly, dial the Digital Extreme Tech hotline. That number, of course, is 323-410-0012. Press 1 when prompted. If you're already listening from your phone, just press 1 if you'd like to talk. So yeah. I'm still reeling about the whole Stephon Marbury thing, man. The people in China has to chill. Seriously. They really they gotta chill a little bit.
Stephon, we love you long time.
But before we get back into that, like I told you guys right before that message, we're gonna talk to Nakasha Wells of Total Life Changes, and she's gonna let you guys know how you can get that beach body before the summer starts. You only have a few weeks left, and I know everybody everybody in the world thinks Miami is the only vacation destination out there. So I know you guys want to go down to Miami. You want to look good on the beach, fellas, ladies, you want to do your thing. So I'm going to stop talking, and we're going to get Nakasha on the line to tell us about this product. Nakasha, are you there?
I'm here.
Hello, how are you?
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
I'm fine. How are you?
We're good. We're just trying to stay out of trouble with the FCC because we got the fellas here, doing Chinese voices, and it's crazy. But okay, so everybody out there is all about. Oh yeah, the fellas are here. B. Austin and Jimmy. Everybody out there is about the beach body, especially when summertime comes. A lot of us out there are lazy throughout the rest of the year, but then we got to get it together before the summer. You have something to assist with our beach bodiness for the summer season. Let everybody know what the product is and what it's about.
Yes, we do. And thank you so much for this opportunity to come and hang out with you guys. I feel so cool, being in this whole sports environment. But we have this amazing, we've got this amazing product, which we've actually kind of rebranded as Skin Tea, because everybody wants to be Skin Tea. Get it? Boom. Okay, never mind.
That sounds like something Medea came up with. I'm Skin Tea. Good morning.
So anyway, it's a 100% organic detox tea, and it's absolutely amazing. You drink 2 cups a day, 2 8-ounce cups a day of this, what I call a magical tea, and you literally can lose 1 to 2 pounds a day without any major changes to your diet. And really, honestly, I hate to say it, but without exercise either, because I try to encourage people to exercise, That's
this sounds like something I need. I'm lazy as hell.
But I mean, you really can legitimately lose 1 to 2 pounds a day just drinking the tea. So it's absolutely.
Ho. You gotta repeat that again. That sounds too good to be true. Say that again.
It's not. I promise you. Check my Facebook page. I'll let you guys in just for a sneak peek.
Oh, we checked. We checked.
We've been looking.
You get the War Room Sports Beach Body endorsement, and that is an official endorsement.
Well, let me ask you a
That
question.
on your picture.
I'm gonna put you on a hot seat, yo. Is there any side effects to this?
I'm gonna grow 11th toe, Emma.
Yeah, because I'm
absolutely.
I'm only worried about one particular thing. I just want to make sure, it's not going. No, man.
Make sure I don't have a steroid effect on you.
Make sure it doesn't shorten.
We actually have another product for that, but I'll come on the show another day.
Whoa, the ad. Okay, so that must like, yo, we can't talk about that now.
We have 2 products one's called Strike Up for the men and one's called Love for the women. So I could leave the rest to your imagination. But they are literally like the Strike Up for men is literally replacing the little blue pill.
Damn.
Yo.
Strike Up. Oh, I get it. See, y'all real clever with the names.
Strike Up.
Skin tea, Strike Up.
You get it? Strike Up.
I get it. Okay. So, but the fact I said there's no side effects. Is that because you did say it's an all natural product, right? So you're not really putting any danger.
100, none. There's no stimulants. Okay. There's no chemicals. It's 100% organic detox tea. We've got the detox. I mean, we've got the organic seal. So it's absolutely 100% organic.
Cool.
So I mean, there's no side effects to it whatsoever. Like you won't feel jumpy. And the other question that I get a lot is, okay, well, am I going to be living in the bathroom? And no, you are not. Absolutely not. Like you can live a regular life. Yes.
Is it doing?
You said what is it doing?
You said what exactly?
If you can answer that, like how does it work? How is it how is it doing these things? You say you're not going to live in the bathroom. You're not going to have what is exactly what's going on here?
Well, I'm not saying you're not going to go to the bathroom. You're just not going to live there.
No, I understand what you're saying.
Exactly. But what it's do? I mean, it's really essentially just a detox. This is the thing: is that most adults never give their digestive tract a break ever. Like you eat food every single day, so it's really like your only organ that never ever gets to rest. So everybody needs to detox. Everybody, I don't want to get too TMI, but everybody has impacted waste that you need to get rid of. And most people don't do that. So, I used to do the master cleanse, which is really intense because you can't eat with the master cleanse. You just drink the tea and that's it for 7, 10, or 14 days. No food.
Damn,
and that's really
die.
too intense for most people. I did it this year at the beginning of the year, 19 days. I know.
I tried the master cleanse about 3 separate times in my life, and I almost died all 3 times.
I lasted like 1 meal. But listen though,
Jimmy, I skipped lunch when I was on the master cleanse.
I lasted 5 days, like 3 days, and and a half a day.
But that's really good.
See, but I've never.
She trying to play with my ego. She did it 19 days.
But I've done it on my own, not with a product. I've eaten like fruit and vegetables every day for like a week, maybe 4 times a year. I try to do that, but that's even difficult. And I'm actually eating things, so I would have to do the tea. I would still have to eat.
Do I if I want to use the strike up, I have to wait the detox first, or strike up first, or how's that work?
They actually are safe enough to use together.
Okay, because I'm asking for a friend.
Oh, shucks.
So if I can get skinny,
there's no side effects.
Come on, man. I'm a big animal. But
I'm going in the
so
I can't.
All right, so you said how do you do the whole thing? I mean, do you drink the tea hot? Like, how is it? How do you prepare the tea?
Great question. It's really easy. Each pack of tea lasts you for a whole week. Lasts you for 7 days. So you boil the tea at night. It's better to do it at night because you really want it to steep overnight. You can let it sit overnight on your stove. And then once you boil it, you add another 3 quarts of water to it. So that creates your gallon. And I just keep the gallon in my fridge the whole week. And then I just kind of siphon it out, a couple of 8-ounce glasses a day. And you're on your way. I drink it cold. And this is the other question that I get a lot is how does it taste? Because people are really concerned. They're like, if it tastes nasty, I'm not going to be able to survive on it. And I get that. I'm kind of diehard about stuff like this, so I have to be sensitive to other people. But this really tastes like water. So if you can drink water, cold water, it's that simple. And so, I even had some folks asking, "Oh, well, can I put some sugar in it?" And I'm like, "Are you serious?" I'm like, "It's a detox."
So you're trying to lose
sugar,
weight,
okay?
but then you're gonna put artificial sugars. Okay,
it's horrible. Like detox and sugar don't really go together. But anyway, so so it's that simple, and you can heat it up. This is the caveat, however, is that it's recommended that you not heat it in a microwave. So that's kind of our lives nowadays. We heat up everything in the microwave. So, you don't really have an opportunity to heat it up on the stove, unless you work from home or whatever. But so that's why I just recommend drinking it cold. And it's really, really, really enjoyable and easy. It's easy. Easiest cleanse I've ever done.
Well, before we get you out of here,
and every morning when you wake up, you've lost a pound. That's the best part.
That's the part that everybody's gonna be looking forward to. But like I was saying, before we get you out of here, you got to do your commercial.
Yes,
you got to let everybody know how they can get hooked up with you so they can get this product.
Absolutely. Well, as you already said, my name is Nakasha Wells. Thank you so much for this opportunity. This is the tea that everybody is buzzing about. Go to my website, www.skinteam, that's SKINNTEAM, like team, .com, and you can visit. You can search all of our products because the tea is our flagship product, but we've got some other really great products like we kind of talked about earlier, the Strike Up and Love and all these other great things. So you can check out all of our products at skinteam.com.
All right. And we'll put that information on all of our social media pages as well to try to get some traffic going over to the site and try to get these tea sales up, because I know everybody got to get, if you got those vacations planned, don't go on your vacation looking like I look right now. Like, do something about that, All right. So like he said,
don't wait till the week before you're getting ready to go on the cruise.
Now. Yeah, because that's what
can I ask? I got one more.
You tell them about some kind of diet plan or something that's going to help them lose weight, and they wait like 4 days before they have to go somewhere, and in that 4 days they don't lose 60 pounds, and then they're upset with you. So
if I'm drinking this tea, Nakasha, and you say I'm losing a pound a day, like how long can I drink the tea for? How much weight should one target to lose? Like, I don't want to drop down to 100 pounds.
You don't want to just completely melt away. Exactly. You know what? That's a great question. The tea is just like anything else. You're going to plateau at some point. So it's safe enough for you to drink every day. But once you get to where your system has gotten, a really good cleanse, then you're going to see the weight loss actually start to drop off. But for most people, that doesn't happen until about 10 to 15 pounds. So you literally can drink this tea, for 2 or 3 weeks and still see results every day for the course of those 2 to 3 weeks. And then if you stop drinking it, start back again, you've kind of accumulated some more stuff, you can flush it out again. So, I've seen some, folks who have lost 20 and 30 and 40 pounds drinking this tea. It really just depends on where you are physically and how much weight you have to lose. It's just like anything else, just like going to the gym. And, some folks who are heavier, they lose a lot more weight more quickly at the beginning. And then you kind of get to a, plateau period. You got to switch it up and do something else.
Cool. All right, Nakasha, we will send people to skinteam.com. That's SKINN.
That's 2 N's.
Team.com. Y'all got all of these little clever little words going on with this, but we thank you so much for taking some time out to come tell everybody about the product, and I will be getting me some. As a matter of fact, I've already placed an order, my initial order, so I'll let everybody know how it goes. I will promote for you. So thank you so much, and we will talk to you again. All right, no problem.
All right. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Later.
All right, that's Nakasha Wells, everybody, from Total Life Changes. Go to Skin, that's 2 N's, SKINN, team, like football team, skinteam.com, and get you some tea and get your body right for vacation. All right, so we got Fred Perdue of College Football Extra on the line. He's going to talk to us about some post-spring practice college football stuff. But before we do that, I just want to let you guys know that Hot Topics are brought to you by Audible. And I'm sorry, Jimmy, you there?
I'm here, good brother.
To read as much as you want. Well, try audiobooks, kick back and let someone else do the reading for you. All you have to do is visit Audible and sign up for your free trial at audibletrial.com/warroomsports. In no time, you can be listening to the latest bestsellers, hands-free, stress-free, while getting other things done at the same time. My bad. The reason I called you because since I was about to do the Audible drop, I was wanting to know if you were what you're reading right now. I'm not going to say if you were reading something because I know you're reading or listening to something every week. So what you doing now?
Here's this dope book I got. It's called Silent Sister. It's a crazy story that I'll probably be making a movie about it within the next couple of years, but it's a pretty good story. You can get it for free, audibletrial.com/warroomsports. I know we got Fred coming on the line, but also those other calls. Just hold on. We're definitely going to get to you once Fred comes on and gives us his breakdown we're going to get to you and talk about whatever it is that you want to talk about. So let's see what's up with Fred now.
We'll go to Fred right now. Fred, you're on the line, bro. What's going on?
What's going on, fellas? Long time no talk.
Yeah,
No
man.
doubt.
Glad to have
You know,
you
we
back
do
in
this-
the war room, Fred.
Yeah, we do this, we do spot work with the college during the off season, but there's some stuff going on. So let's get right into it, man. Give us your thoughts. Give us your post-spring thoughts. Everybody's had their spring games, I presume, and what's going on in the world of college football right now?
For all the fans out there that are fans of the not so great teams, I have good news for you. You're undefeated. I have bad news for you.
For now.
That won't last for long. This is the time of year everybody loves their team and everybody's undefeated. Jim Harbaugh is going to win a national title. He's going to take down Ohio State, and Florida's going to come back, and Miami's coming back, and USC is going to win everybody's winning the national championship. That's a fantasy world. There was no There's no defense played in these games. The good thing about couple things I did find in these games, there are a few jewels. Freshmen are no longer freshmen, and we've known this for years. But the further we go along, where freshmen are inserted to these offenses and defenses, these guys are going to these camps. They're coming in. They're essentially sophomores before they ever hit the field as a true college freshman, because they've had a chance to enroll early. They're in the offense. They know everything about the playbook. They're used to campus. They're not messing with the college girls anymore because they're focused on football now. But, okay, I'm lying.
Whatever.
But you have guys like Derwin James. I gotta highlight him. I've had the pleasure of seeing him for the last few years. He was a big time 5-star recruit. He went to Florida State. He had been committed to Florida State for 2 years from his junior year in high school out at Haines City High School down here in Florida. And it was his senior year. He played at Arbondale High School as well. His junior year, he was that good. Florida State offered him a scholarship his junior year. He took it and he just wrote it out. He's 6'2". He's like 215. He's a horse. He's what we call down here in the South a hoss. And he's pretty good. He got a chance to step out on the field, and there's some things I really like. He was able to cover. The game didn't look too big for him. Florida State is going to be replacing a quarterback this year. We're not truly sure yet who their quarterback is going to be. Sean McGuire, who stepped in for Jameis Winston against Clemson last year, and I don't really think he's going to be the answer. Somebody's going to end up probably overtaking him. I'm thinking DeAndre Francois, a true freshman, who had a chance to be under Chris Winkie, the former Heisman Trophy winner from Florida State. He's a high school coach down here in Florida now. He had a year of training from him. I think that may be the road they go down. But you have other freshmen, such as you have guys like George Campbell, who's a receiver, a 5-star guy. Mike Freeze from TCU, a former safety, playing linebacker. You have a lot of guys out there. They're so versatile, and they're able to understand these offenses and defenses, and they have a chance to step out there. And it's really enjoyable to see a young guy come out there and make plays.
Well, I got a question for you, man. What's these rumors that I'm hearing about Braxton Miller? Anything to that?
I think it may be, but I don't really think he would be a great fit. Trey DePriest, former linebacker from Alabama, was they're good friends, and you have Braxton Miller having shoulder surgery last year. He's rehabbing. Well, he had to come down to see Dr. James Andrews. Who else are you going to go see when you have some kind of a knee or a shoulder or any kind of other thing falling off of your body when you're playing football? Right. You're going to go see the best. And you're going to have to go to Birmingham, Alabama to do that. Well, Tuscaloosa, Alabama's 35 minutes away. They're good friends. I don't think there's much of it. Nick Saban really put that to bed. I don't really see him as a good fit at Alabama anyway. He looks like he's not really a great passer. He's more of a spread option type quarterback. But Ohio State has a lot of options at quarterback right now.
Not too many of them left in college ball. But
Yeah, Yeah, there's not that many. I mean, Brad Kaya, Cody Kessler, USC. You may have a couple others, but there's not. The college game is such a spread offense, bubble screen, slant, curl kind of league, kind of game now. It's just everything's so behind the line of scrimmage that you don't really see those guys like Jameis Winston, and that's why that's another story for another day. I can't get into that with you guys for the NFL draft, but he's one of the rare guys out there that you don't really see that in college football anymore.
All right, so real quick before we get you off, I hear that you have a little something to promote. It's time to do your commercial.
Well, we at collegefootballextra.com like to play the what-if game. Well, the what-if game is, what if you were to put out a way too early to tell top 25? Oh, Florida State could be there, Clemson could be there, USC, Ohio State. Who knows? The spring games are over. Everybody's undefeated. Way too early to tell top 25 coming out tomorrow morning. I'm kind of stuck between Ohio State, Alabama. I like Ohio State because of the quarterbacks, but I like Alabama because they have a certain running back that's going to have he's going to have a backfield to himself in Derrick Henry. Who knows? You got to go to collegefootballextra.com to check out the way too early to tell top 25 post spring.
All right, collegefootballextra.com. Fred, thanks a lot, man. And the NFL draft is coming up, so we will be talking to you again next week because next week we'll be on live during the beginning of the draft. So, of course, we'd like to have you in the house to talk about some of the prospects during that time. So we'll talk to you next week.
Will do, guys. Have a good one.
All right, you too.
Good.
All right, Fred Purdue, everybody, collegefootballextra.com. Make sure you check it out. All right, so back into some of these hot topics, and we do have some callers on the line. You guys want to get some of these callers first, or?
Of course, we got to hear from the people.
All right, well, let's hear from the people. We got to, speaking of Alabama, we got the homie Tobias on the line. Roll damn Tide. What's going on, Tobias?
Roll damn Tide. I hate Jacob Coker. How's it going?
Pretty good. How are you?
I'm all right, man. I had working these new hours and stuff, but I have to say this. First thing crossed my mind. I listen to ESPN radio. How would Chris Broussard feel when multiple sources tell him that when LeBron gets put out by Chicago Bulls, whose testicles he's going to ride next?
You got your Bulls putting them out. Remember, I picked.
Yo, hold on. Tobias, you got your swagger back because when Derrick Rose went down, you was calling it quits. You was ready to move to the draft. You got your swagger back right now. You got, Jimmy Butler looking like a member of the Cooley High gang. He out there putting up 30. Now you got your swagger back.
Hey,
no doubt. And I'm glad he does though, because I picked OKC in Chicago to meet in the finals prior to the season starting. It wasn't looking too good for me. Well, it's not looking good at all on the OKC side, but Chicago is back in the mix. So, we got to see how this plays out. But you got them taking out Cleveland if it comes to it.
Yeah, I'll tell you this. Chris Broussard thinks LeBron James could beat the 93 Bulls, the three-piece Bulls. He think they could beat the bad boys because LeBron is there. This dude thinks LeBron could beat Jesus in a game of one-on-one. That's how he is. But, the thing is, all these years I've been calling y'all show, I've always complained about the Bulls not having multiple options that can create their own shot and score. They have that with Butler. You can throw it at Gasol. And they can, and when Mirotic comes back, they can give it to him. And
so it's no more excuses. Then is what you're saying? It's now or never.
Pretty much. Yeah. Pretty much. And I tell you this, 'cause I know you got other people. Huh? Kyrie Irving is a ball hog. Let's just be honest here. To me, he reminds. I know people are gonna laugh at me for this. Take away the fancy crossover, and somehow he's the only guy that gets elevated because he won some MVP in the World Championships and an All-Star Game MVP. But he does a lot of the same stuff Monte Ellis does. Short guy who does it. That's nothing else.
You got this call is all shade on Cleveland and all big up to Chicago. So
Yeah,
the thing
no,
is,
all right.
y'all can't. I think y'all can beat them because of the way you guys play defense. But I'm
Gotta
looking
be
forward to
healthy.
the series now just to hear your phone calls, Tobias.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Remember now, when my teams lose, I still call. And by the way, they got other people. I'll say this. Y'all know I'm a Bucks fan, and all I got to tell Lovey is, if you want to keep your job, which I don't think you're that good of a coach anyway, but if you want to keep your job, don't draft Mariota, draft Jameis, and that's it. Because let's be honest here, this guy here is a talent. You know, the guy is intelligent enough that he's a talent. Now he has to grow up a little bit, but let's be honest here. Not many guys are Andrew Luck here, but the guy is talented. The guy has the arm, the intelligence, the anticipation. Can you gamble on waiting on Mariota? Because besides Cam Newton, none of these spread guys are any good.
Well, no coach can gamble on waiting on it because you lose your job too fast these days. But Tobias, man, thank you so much for your call, man. Call us next week because we're going to be going live at the beginning of the draft. So, call us after they make that pick and let us know if you're happy with it. I mean, we assume if it's Jameis, you'll be happy. But
hey,
if it
ain't Jameis,
definitely call in and tell us what you think.
Hey, if it ain't Jameis, you may hear someone jumping from a bridge. But anyway, you gotta take it easy, man.
All right, you too.
All right,
peace.
Roll damn tide. All right, we got a Rob calling. We got to knock these callers. We got to let y'all know because we got some stuff to get to. We got to keep these calls short. So, make your point and let's go. So we got Rob calling in from the left coast. Rob, what's going on? You're in the war room.
Yo, what's up, man? How y'all doing, man? I ain't
Pretty
going to
good.
take too
What about
long,
you?
as I always do, man. I'm just going to say real quick, since we're going to roll tide, shout out to one of my girls, Jonah Williams, she goes to roll tide, so shout out to her. Anyways, man, yo, I'm glad. I'm saying glad that Ronald got hurt, but you know what? It just shows, you know what I'm saying, that hey, I know it makes his slave owner very discouraged, you know what I'm saying? So I'm throwing shade at Mark, Mr. Cuban, you know what I'm saying? If I ever see you on the street, I'm throwing a hoodie at your face. But anyways, what y'all think about Tim Duncan? Can he really, because they ain't going more like one big man on the Spurs. Do you think they have a chance to beat the Clippers in this series, or what's up?
The
I
Spurs?
picked them to win the series.
Yeah.
I picked them to win the series just based upon the longer the series goes. The Clippers bench is terrible, just that simple. The Spurs, it's not just about Duncan. They have a deeper team than the Clippers. Like my brother B. Austin would like to say, the Clippers bench consists of one person, and that's Jamal Crawford. They literally play with six people.
Yeah, they have a six-man. They got a
Jimmy
six-man.
Duncan is a part of the depth now.
They got a six-man rotation. And the Spurs have a 9 or 10-man rotation. If you got to rely on Big Baby Davis, first of all, his name is Big Baby. So Clippers got a problem.
Yes, I think, as a matter of fact, I think all of us I picked the Spurs to win the series in 6. The Clippers blew another, a golden opportunity last night to put a nice little 2-0. I'm not going to call it a stranglehold, but to put a little bit of a hold on the series. They went into overtime. They made some boneheaded plays, and they were boneheaded by Chris Paul's reactions on the court, little temper tantrums. But I think the Spurs will still pull it out. They're the dudes that I've picked against for the last 5 years, and I don't understand how they keep winning and how they keep getting far, but they do. So from now on, I'm just not going to pick against them until they prove themselves that they can't win. So that's the deal with that. Rob, one thing before we get you out of here, we see that you haven't really been on board with your coach, Chip Kelly, and his move during the offseason. What do you think they're going to do with that 20th pick in the draft? Or do you think they're going to end up trading up to get Mariota or something? Because those talks are back. What do you think they do in the first round of the draft?
Man, with this coach, man, with this team, I expect the worst. I don't expect to win anything. I expect to go 5-11 next season. I just don't. I mean, our fan base, just the fan base in general. I've been busy. I'm just gonna write an article dedicated to the fan base. To be honest, I really thought that they was gonna trade Sam Bradford in a pick to get Johnny Manziel because he needs an athletic quarterback to run his offense. That's just how it is. Would it surprise me if they trade back? It wouldn't surprise me. I wouldn't be mad. Would it surprise me if we trade that first pick for Manziel? Hey. It wouldn't surprise me. They've been doing stupid stuff so far. Why not keep doing it? You know what I'm saying? Mama says stupid is what stupid does. So, yeah.
Well, like I said, call us next week because the draft will be going on next week. So we'll see what they're going to do.
I'll be taking shots.
Thanks for your call, man. We appreciate it.
All right, man. Take it easy.
Yo, sports fans are on edge these days about everything. All right, so let's go one more call for now, and then we can get into some more of these topics. Got to get to the homie Phil Matic from the Tissue and the Tape Hip Hop Podcast on the War Room Sports Podcast Network. Phil, what's going on, bro?
Yo, what's good?
Family.
What up,
fellas? Ain't nothing. What's up with y'all, man? I was just calling in, just checking in with y'all, getting ready for this draft next week. I'm already in the war room. Not your room, obviously, but in mine, trying to get these deals done. What do you think about?
Y'all drafting a linebacker or 4?
No, we don't want to retire the next day. No, Eric Instead is the pick I'm putting in because we need for the linebackers we do have left, we're going to need them to be able to make tackles. So he's a space eater, and he'd be a good fit for us. Yeah, exactly. And my linebackers, as long as Navarro Bowman is back, we'll be good. Will Hoyt is there. Yeah, 87 tackles last year.
They're going to be good. It's not going to be as deep as they were, so nobody can get hurt anymore.
Yeah, like Will Hoyt had a good season. I mean, he would have led the Eagles in tackles if he was on y'all squad. So I mean,
shots fired.
Just a little bit. This is just a little Arsenio Hall one, But no, I just watching these playoffs. It's crazy to think that like either the Spurs or the Clippers are going home. Both two of the best teams in the league on a win streak. They was rolling going into the playoffs. But I just wanted to say the Clippers are definitely they are who we thought they always were, and they're still the Clippers until further notice.
Exactly, that's my thoughts.
They blew that game yesterday because, I mean, if they go up 2-0, it's a very good chance that they win the series. Now, it's probably I give them very little chance to win.
Now you got to go. Now you got to go to San Antonio and try to get at least one in their building to even it back up. So when you come home, that you still had a home court advantage. So that's difficult.
And Tony Parker's not going to go 0 for 7. Again, I can't see him going 0 for 7 in another game. That's crazy. That they still won. The fact that I think he only had 1 point. It's real interesting. But I had a question for y'all because and forgive me if y'all covered it already. I missed the first part of the show, but your man Tebow, what's up with Chip, man? Like for real, like
teams. Yeah, we'll touch on it. Teams sign a lot of people in the offseason to practice. I mean, you need bodies to practice.
Yeah, just stay on. Just keep listening because we gonna rant on the Eagles in just a few minutes here, right after we get a few other things out of the way. So thanks for your call. Keep it locked, and we're gonna give you them thoughts.
I just wanted to say
3 minutes
before I go. Tissue and the Tape is on Saturday this week, Saturday at midnight. We're gonna be discussing the 20th anniversary of Friday, so definitely tune in for that, and it's gonna be pretty good. Definitely.
Hey, Phil, real quick. Phil, real quick, I got a question for you. I read an article, I think yesterday.
Young man,
and they said
you got knocked the fuck out.
Yes,
no, but listen though. The article, and it was a long article and you know I hate long ass articles, but the gist of the article was that Friday is the most important hood movie ever made. So real quick, I don't know if you agree with that sentiment or not.
Important is a strong word. I can't say it's important, but it's the most impactful. And we'll actually going to discuss that because I read the same article. We're going to discuss that on the episode.
Cool.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right, no doubt.
You sent me that, Jim. I got to read that, so I'll read it before I listen to the show.
Yo, article long as hell. Set aside like 3 hours, yo. That joint drawing.
yeah, get a Snickers, yo. in a 5-hour energy.
Cool.
Yo, the article's longer than the movie.
All right, Phil. Thanks for calling, man. We're gonna
General, y'all have
Tebow.
a good rest of the show.
All right,
I'll be in next week.
All right.
I'll be locked in.
Big homie.
One love.
Salute.
All right, that's Phil Maddock from the Tissue and the Tape Hip Hop Podcast on the War Room Sports Podcast Network. Make sure you check that out, WRSPN.com. All right, so you know we're a little behind. So some of these things that we were going to talk about, we don't have to talk about them. You know, I'll just mention some of the big things that happened. Of course, Barry Bonds, his obstruction of justice conviction has been reversed. So people don't even have that to hang over his head anymore when you talk about this whole Hall of Fame thing. They no longer have that. It's been thrown out. It's been reversed. So we'll see where they go with it from now on. That's all they really had on Bonds. Well, you know, he was convicted of lying to the grand jury. So that no longer stands. So we'll see how that goes. But let's get into Tebow mania for a minute. Because Tebow mania has hit.
I have one thing to say about the Bonds thing. I just want to say they spent taxpayer money for that whole witch hunt off of this. That's all I want to say.
To end up reversing it like years later.
And got nothing.
That is crazy. But Tebow mania has hit home literally because we're all from Philadelphia. So it's going on as we speak. And just like he does at every stop, he's so polarizing. He has some people who are good with the move. He has some people who are ready to jump off of a bridge or murder Chip Kelly, whichever comes first, whether they get to the bridge or if they see Chip, it depends on which happens first. B. Austin, being a Philadelphia Eagles fan, what was because I know you have like strong opinions on some of the stuff that Chip does. And let's not get into, you know, the fact that, you know, he still has to make the team. Let's throw that out for a minute. What was your initial reaction when they ended up signing Tim Tebow? Like, just say he is a part of the team. You're trying to work him in. Like, what are your feelings on that?
It's really confirmation. It's confirmation for me that Chip Kelly is an egomaniac. Right. That's not to say that egomaniacs are not successful. That's not to say that this all won't go down a path that has us happy. Meaning, you know, I'm still hopeful as an Eagles fan that what he's doing translates into not only 11, you know, somewhere between 10. Well, I don't want 10 wins because we've seen that story, but somewhere between 11 and 13 wins, and more importantly, playoff success. Because I will say this, on one level, the concept of team being more important than the individual, there's nothing wrong with that. The issue that I think we have is that there are superstar players that were basically jettisoned from the Eagles that weren't necessarily problematic or not buying into the team concept. It was just, this dude really believes that his system trumps all. And, you know, I'm hoping that we get to my real views and feel on Tim Tebow. First of all, I'm a Tim Tebow supporter. Despite the fact that he cannot throw a football at all, I think that he is a winner. And he's a leather helmet football player, and he doesn't mind dying to win. And I respect that. I respect what he stands for. I respect the fact that he will get down and kneel in front of the TV cameras and give praise to his Lord and Savior Jesus Christ in front of everybody and take that ridicule. I respect him for that. I respect it because that's what, you know, freedom of speech is about, and being a man and standing on your principles and belief. So I've always been a huge Tebow fan, and I feel like there's a certain segment of our listeners and supporters as well as the world.
He's Jesus' little brother, right? That's his
exactly.
brother.
He is. So there's a segment of our supporters that slam on him, but he does the same thing that they love, you know, other quarterbacks. They go ahead and do it. So but I think
it's popular. I see what you're saying, because a lot of people root for dudes. A lot of people root for dudes who can run and can't throw. It's just not as ugly as Tebow, and they're not programmed to dislike them. So it's a whole different reaction. But a lot of y'all root for people who can't throw.
All right, here's my thing, man. First off, man, all praises be to Allah. But all I want to say about this is that I think it's hilarious. I think it's hilarious the amount of attention my man gets, because more than likely he probably won't even be playing when the season starts.
That's real.
It just goes to show, like, hero worship in this society is out of control, and it shows the power of Tebow, man. This dude is so popular, and at this point, I don't even know why. Like, Florida was so long ago. I mean, and it also goes to show you that something my grandmother told me a long time ago, like, it don't cost nothing to be nice. That's your best investment. It pays a lot of dividends, and it's free. Tebow's overall a nice guy. So he has people who hate him, but he has people who ride or die for him, even outside of the religious angle, just because he's a nice guy. Anyone who's ever met him, I've seen dudes that like criticize him from a football standpoint, and he'll meet them, and then they start taking it easy on him, like critiquing his football just because they met him.
What
kind of charisma is he has?
Maybe he laid the hands on him.
Stephen A. Smith from that show on that network, he used to take amazing shots at Tebow. They met, they had a conversation, they're cool. Stephen A. is his biggest advocate, and he kind of takes my approach. Like, you gotta admit, dude can't throw. He can't throw.
Saying, like,
he barely can't play football, but you root for him. I want Tebow to succeed. I just don't want him.
So here's my thing, man. The biggest lesson,
not on my team.
Just be nice to people, man. That's the biggest lesson in Tebow. Because more than likely, guess what? He ain't gonna make the team, and he probably get a shot next year because he's just such a nice guy.
Yeah. So now that's a great point, Jim. Because me, like, being, doing what we do, being in sports, and then the added thing of me being a Philadelphia Eagles fan, a million people came to me this week. What's up with your coach? What y'all doing? How you feel about it? For me, a story that was so big in the world of sports, to me, it's much ado about nothing. And it's because of what both of you guys already mentioned. First of all, he probably won't make the team. And a lot of people forget when football players get signed, especially signings like this, not like big money signings. People forget that, okay, being signed in football, especially when you don't have any guaranteed money or no signing bonus, is just that. You're being signed. You're a camp body right now. You have to make the team. So just because a football team signs somebody, it doesn't mean everybody in the world has to get this hyper. And, we know Tim Tebow is such a polarizing figure. He's the only person who's signing on a team to try out for a third string job that causes this kind of hoopla. So for me, when everybody's asking me, what is your coach doing? Are you down with this? This is much ado about nothing. Like, I don't care. We have what? And I say we as an Eagles fan, there's like 5 quarterbacks on the roster right now. If he doesn't pull the whole coup in the draft to get Marcus Mariota, I'm still sure that they're going to draft a quarterback, maybe in the middle to later rounds. So they're going to go into camp with like 6 quarterbacks. Tim Tebow will just be one of them. But
I will say this though, Dad.
This is potentially your third string quarterback. So why does anybody care what I think about what Chip Kelly is doing right now? Like, who cares?
They're shopping Matt Barkley. They tried to. They really are.
They tried to do it before So I mean, they try to get rid of a third string for a third string.
That's my take. My take, just to agree with you. Camp bodies. You go into camp with 90 players on your roster. There's no real worry at this point that we're going to see leather helmet football in the wing tee. Yeah, I mean, it's just he's a body, and if he can, they say he's been working out with like 6 different quarterback gurus, and he can now throw the ball. I don't care. My
Tim
concern
Tebow he signed a 1-year deal for $660,000. No signing bonus, no guaranteed money, which means he signed a tryout. And if he makes the team, he'll make $660,000. Now, Tim Tebow versus me trying out off the street, okay, that's a little bit of a better deal because you already know what he's going to make if he makes the team. For me, it's like, okay, you got to make the team, and then you would have to negotiate a deal which won't be $660,000. But you can sign him to that because okay, if he does make the team, that's not a lot of money in NFL money. And if he doesn't make the team, you don't have to give that up at all. So it's much to do about nothing. I think the odds are against him that he'd actually make the team anyway. And if he does, it'll probably be because Chip Kelly traded Sam Bradford and a bunch of other stuff to get Marcus Mariota. So that means Sanchez will probably be the starting quarterback for a little while. Marcus Mariota will be the backup. And then you'll have Tebow maybe as, your safety net. But another thing that fans don't seem to realize, if you're down to your third string quarterback, you're in trouble anyway. So who gives a damn who your third string quarterback is? The only thing Chip Kelly probably was a little upset that he hasn't been in the news cycle for about a week and a half, so he had to make a splash. He's probably a little of an attention whore, so he grabbed Tim Tebow to make a splash.
Eric Ego is his name.
Yeah, that's the extent of that. And before we move on, I do have to read the quotes from the former Cardinals kicker Jay Feely. Jay Feely thinks that Tim Tebow is the worst quarterback that he's ever seen in his life, I think on any level. So Jay Feely was talking to Jim Rome, and these are his quotes. He said, talking about Tebow, he said, he's such a dichotomy for me because I really respect the person, the man, the things that he believes, and then the things that he does off the field. But he was the single worst quarterback I ever saw in my career in the NFL. I watched him one day. I sat and watched him do routes on air with Ken Wisenhunt as we were playing the Broncos. And routes on air, there's no defensive backs. You know exactly what he's going to run. There's no pass rush. He had like 13 incompletions on routes on air. He said, Jim, you and I could go out and do routes on air, and we would complete most of our passes. So he goes on to talk about Chip Kelly. He says he thinks his system is better than everyone's, and his system is going to work. And it doesn't matter if he gets rid of star players like Deshaun Jackson or LaShawn McCoy. He thinks he's smarter, so he could take a guy everyone else has quit on and utilize him. So basically, time will tell what's going to happen with Tim Tebow and if Chip Kelly is indeed a genius in his quote-unquote system. I'm so tired of hearing that word when his name comes up. If his system is indeed all that. So that's our thoughts on Tebow mania that has struck the city of Philadelphia. Other things that's happened in the NFL, Greg Hardy has received a 10-game suspension. You guys have any thoughts on that? I mean, because we know he's not in trouble with the law any longer because the woman, he was convicted, but he appealed the case, and the woman that he assaulted or allegedly assaulted will not cooperate. She wouldn't even cooperate in the NFL's investigation. So it kind of left them in a stalemate, and they gave him a 10-game suspension. Do you guys think the NFL is overstepping their bounds, or is it a case where after the whole thing that happened last season with Ray Rice and Greg Hardy, they have to be heavy-handed on this?
After Ray Rice, after Ray McDonald, they got to be heavy-handed. After they had Chris Carter on the NFL channel crying in commercials, they had to step their game up. Now, I take issue with Jerry Jones, who came out pretty strongly against domestic violence and the type of individuals he doesn't want to be around and does want to be around. And to see him go ahead and sign Greg Hardy is very interesting. I think it's very interesting because at what point do your personal morals go out the window for the benefit of the best pass rusher probably today in today's game? So that was interesting to see him.
Yeah, Gerald said that he fully expected this punishment to come down when they signed him. So I don't know if he really means that, or if that's just his way to save face and say we're not salty about it because we knew it was going to happen. But 10 games, he won't be eligible to play, and ironically, until they play his old team, the Carolina Panthers. So we'll see how that all shakes out. I mean, you don't have the woman cooperating, he gets off, but the league still doles out their punishment for him breaking the conduct policy. I mean, it's basically because he was convicted, and
he strangled her and tried to kill her and said he would kill her.
When you're not a boss, man, you got to do what they tell you to do, man. The league is daddy.
The league are my daddies. All right, so the NFL schedule came out, and every football fan in America creamed their shorts. I don't understand the hoopla about the schedule coming out. I understand, if you travel to see a lot of your team's games or whatever, then you get to see, you get to start planning your trips. I get that part, but a lot of people just do it. Fans and talking heads alike. As I listen to radio shows where the first day the schedule comes out in April, everybody's running down the schedule doing wins and losses. You don't even know who's going to be on the team. Free agency isn't done. We haven't been through the draft yet. We didn't go to camp. We don't know who's going to get cut. So how are you doing wins and losses in April? I know people are going to say, we're just having fun. Stop being a buzzkill. How are you doing wins and losses in April?
Because the average person is this isn't that serious. It's not that it's all for the sensation. It's all just to talk. We're in multiple social media groups where the same jokes and the same clowning goes on year round, and it's just idiocy. So whatever. Have your fun.
I don't think nobody actually believes the nonsense they say, man. Sometimes people are just lonely and they're looking for a reason to talk. And
everybody's team going 12-4, and it's April.
Yeah, man. There's too many good things on Netflix for me to be even engaging in those conversations, man. I just laugh. I got so many text messages, tags, all that kind of stuff about, we see y'all this. I'm like, I don't even care what you're talking about right now, B.
Right now, there's no conversation.
I don't care.
Adrian Peterson is being stated, though.
Yeah, but I'm like, we don't even know where he's gonna be at yet. It's supposed to go to one. Come on, I can't even think about that right now, man.
AP back, we going 12-4. You don't even know if AP on the squad.
It's NBA playoffs going on. Boxing is heating up. I don't even care right now, man. Holler at me later, man.
But Jim, remember, we've been talking about this for the last 3 years because the NFL has slowly and surely every year have been trying to do extra things throughout the year to dominate the sports news cycle all throughout the year. So now we're to the point, seriously, and I do this for a living. Besides the fact that I'm going to be in Chicago for the first day of the draft because of what we do, the draft is not that great of an event for me. I'm not the dude who orders pizza and sits around and watches the draft. Okay, people will call me and tell me my phone will tell me who's getting picked. I don't have to sit and watch hours and hours of draft coverage.
I do not, I do not watch the draft, man. But that's literally watching a bunch of dudes. I'm gonna show up and watch you do job interviews.
I think that this is a money grab, man. This is a money grab. The NFL knows football's not going to be here in another 50 years, so they're getting all the money they can.
Listen, man. It's too many lovely women with great moisture. It's too many great TV shows. Too much good food. Go experience life, man. And I love sports, but y'all need to chill.
The draft is one thing. It's even if you don't bang with the draft, you can kind of understand it. But to make the release of the NFL schedule an event, because they had a TV show about it for the last few years, come on, man. The schedule? Y'all need a life, for real. Speaking of the schedule, the 2015 NFL schedule was influenced by the Pope. Yes, I did say the Pope. Pope Francis will be in Philadelphia. He'll be in Philadelphia. And because he's coming to Philadelphia on a football Sunday, he basically told the NFL, his spokespeople told the NFL that he doesn't want the Eagles to be in town while he's there. I guess he just, it's a Sunday. You want all the holy people to be out there to see you. And people probably would disrespect the Pope and not go see the Pope because they're watching the Eagles game. And if they were in town, the Pope probably get caught in some traffic. He's not trying to do all of that. So he said, and Peter King wrote this in his column. He said, Phillies, the baseball team, conflicts in weeks 1 and 4, and a letter from Philadelphia Archbishop Charles J. Caput to Commissioner Roger Goodell last July 8th respectfully requested the NFL not play in Philadelphia on Sunday of week 3, the day Pope Francis is scheduled to hold a mass for an estimated 2 million people on the Benjamin Franklin Parkway outside the Art Museum in Philly. So the NFL accommodated his request, and the Eagles will be in New York for a week 3 matchup against the New York Jets during his visit. And by all accounts, they're either trying to, glorify this story, or, by all accounts, the Eagles, they were originally supposed to be there, and they had to rearrange the schedule to accommodate the Pope's request. Hey, the Pope.
Yo, FOH to the Pope. I don't bang with the Pope like that. All the people that worship another man the way y'all do, y'all should be ashamed of yourselves. And you need to look in the mirror, and you need to get your own self-confidence up. And by the way, hide your little boys when they come here, because the Catholic Church is known to engage in BBR. So that's all I gotta say, man. All praises be to Allah, man.
I got nothing after that. I got nothing. B, nothing.
Yo, shout out to His Holiness.
Yeah,
and all the money that they have in the Vatican.
Beautiful place. Beautiful place.
That they stole during the crusade, but
Go, Jimmy, go.
All right, let me go ahead and give you the stat of the week before Jimmy takes it, so we can talk about the playoffs and give you guys our 2014-15 NBA awards. So before we do that, the stat of the week, speaking of Tim Tebow, with the addition of Tim Tebow, the Philadelphia Eagles now have under contract 3 of the 5 worst quarterbacks in the league over the past 5 years. And this is going by their total QBR. So the worst total QBRs in the league over the past 5 years, with a minimum 30 games at quarterback, the worst is Tim Tebow, 33.4. Then there's Geno Smith, 35.7. Chad Henne, 36.9. Then there's another Philadelphia Eagle, Mark Sanchez, 40.4. And Sam Bradford, 40.7. So 3 of these guys, Tebow, Sanchez, and Bradford, are who Chip Kelly at the present moment is trotting out as your Philadelphia Eagles quarterbacks. So their quarterback room, basically, their quarterback meeting room is full of statistical bums. So we'll see how that all plays out. And that's our stat of the week. And before Jimmy takes us into that NBA talk, I just want to let you guys know you can check out our website, warroomsports.com, to call in and speak with us about any of today's topics, but preferably NBA basketball. Dial the Digital Extreme Tech hotline, 323-410-0012. Press 1 when prompted. If you're already listening from your phone, just press 1 if you want to rap to the brothers. All right.
Yes, sir. Now it's time to talk basketball playoffs going on. And this NBA rap is brought to you by Fanatics. For the best in your favorite team's merchandise and apparel, shop Fanatics. Shopping Fanatics is easy. Go to our website, warroomsports.com, and click on that Fanatics logo, and you can get you some gear. NFL, NBA, NHL, Major League Baseball gear, and more. Don't forget, warroomsports.com, and look for that Fanatic logo. Let's talk basketball.
Basketball is
my favorite. Yo. First story I want to talk about is the Atlanta Hawks. This is the number 1 seed in the East, Atlanta Hawks, those guys. They're to sell to an ownership team led by entrepreneur Anthony Ressler for $850 million. And the brother Grant Hill is a part of that group as well. So he'll get him a little piece of the Atlanta Hawks. I know Grant will play for a lot of teams. Did he ever play for the Hawks?
No.
No.
He just trying to get his foot in the door.
He's trying to get a piece of that pie. Yeah.
I respect that. Listen, everybody starts somewhere. I mean, Mike bought him a little slice.
Boys got over, Jim. I think they got over. I mean, I know Atlanta's not a market like LA, but if LA Clippers and not the Lakers, if the Clippers are going to go for, what they went for, what was it, $2 billion? Like 850 million. I think they got over. I think once the Clippers go for $2 billion, and any other team in a major metro area has to go for at least $1 billion. I'm not saying Milwaukee or Memphis or anything like that, but Atlanta is a burgeoning metro area. Maybe because it's predominantly black is why the value not
well, the attendance numbers are terrible.
They don't support their team at all. Like the essays out support the Clippers regardless of whether they were good or not. I mean, the market does make a difference, and dude was also trying to get out for a while, so he was trying to get out of there. I don't know what he has going on in his personal life, or maybe he's just trying to cash out and go do whatever it is. Because I don't know what he purchased the team for.
This was a house that was on the market for a while, so the buyer was able to lowball him.
Exactly. Yeah, so I mean, shout out to Grant Hill for getting his foot in the door, and hopefully moving forward he can keep taking pieces of that pie till he's the majority owner, man. I root for ex-athletes to own teams. I think that's the way it should be. Anyway,
I'm just mad Grant ain't call us to get a piece of that action, but it's all good. I'll talk to him.
Grant about that action, boss. Eastern Conference playoffs. Speaking of those Atlanta Hawks, they lead the series versus the Nets 2-0. The Nets had a valiant effort last night, but Deron Williams, man, your bodyguard's Uchi Wally verse is better than yours. Like, you sold the farm. You were 2 for life. You did grab 10 boards and had 8 assists, but you sold the farm in the clutch. You sold the farm in that non-clutch. What do you guys think about this game, and what's going on with Devman Deron? Because he's Devman now, because I cut him off.
He cut him off.
I don't know where his game went. Paul Pierce had some interesting words in an interview, which Paul Pierce is now that ignorant old man, along with Kobe, that'll just say anything. You ask him and he'll just give you his opinion. Well, he said that Deron Williams' lack of dominance is based on him not really having the heart to be a top tier number one guy. And that was his critique. I'm paraphrasing. That was his critique of Deron. Jersey Joe Johnson, ISO Joe is out right now, correct? He's not really playing. I think
he played last night. He's the one that gave him that open shot. He got him that open shot.
Yeah. So it's going to come down to ISO Joe carrying the team, and God bless him, he's one of my favorite players. But at his age, Deron ought to be ashamed of himself, man. ISO Joe needs some help. ISO's like 34.
Well, I heard somebody talking about Deron Williams the other day, and they were basically saying, I think it was Stephen A., and I agree with some of the stuff that he was saying. Like, Deron Williams has all the talent in the world, but he doesn't think that he wants it bad enough. Like, he's not one of those players where losing like absolutely kills him. So, once he got that $92 million contract, then it's all good for him. Like, he's not interested.
Gary Sloan told y'all this. He ran Gary Sloan out of basketball.
And some more stuff Stephen A. was saying, because he gets exclusive access with some of these dudes, so he has some of the inside scoop. He was like, now, when it comes, like, Deron Williams is like a family man, and I mean, everybody's family should be more important in basketball, but for him, it's on a different level. He was like, the stuff that Paul Pierce said about him, like, he didn't even respond back in kind. Like, he just let Paul Pierce say that stuff, and even if you're not going to say anything back, then that would just mean like your opponent that night will be in trouble. And it's just not the type of thing that he does. But he said, but say something about his family or mess with his family, and then you'll see that monster in Deron Williams that you expect to see on the basketball court. So basically, he's just not into it like that.
When we look at these sports, and I had this conversation with people all the time, because I've actually had an argument with someone who told me that all these athletes care. That's how they got to that level, because they care. I'm like, they don't. Like, we assume that they put it all on the line. Some people are just naturally gifted. They get to a certain level, and like you said, he got that contract, and I mean, some things are more important than him. Yeah, but
he made it.
It's just amazing, man. Like, cause him and Boozer looked like they were going to be the new Stockton and Malone. And think about this, though. Think about how nasty Boozer was in that system. So Jerry Sloan essentially got both of these jokers paid elsewhere, and neither one of them have been, as dominant as they were together. Because the couple seasons they played under Jerry Sloan, they looked like, a younger version of Stockton. They was getting it in.
Yeah, I was on that bandwagon right along with y'all. I stayed, giving Duran credit as being better than Chris Paul and the best PG in the league, and then he just let me down. I don't think it was the injury. The injury, people give him the excuse of the injuries, but he's not that old, man. It ain't the injuries. He don't want it, man. He don't care. He getting paid. Yeah. His family is taken care of.
Yo, Duran, all I want to say, man, is you let Nas down, man. But speaking of this series, though, you think the Hawks will take it in 4, or would the Nets give any little fight back? What do you guys think about that?
I still don't think it's going to be a sweep. I think I picked the Hawks to win it in 6, and that was more about my reluctance to believe in the Hawks rather than any belief that I have in Brooklyn, because I have none. So I still think it'll go 5 or 6. If they can get one, at least in the next game, then I don't think they'll win 2. Like, I don't think they'll ever tie this series up, but I still think they can get 2.
Yeah, I think personally that they may win 1 game. It'll go 4 or 5. After that close game, I think it depends. The game 3 is going to be a tell-all whether they can win a couple games or just 1 game. Because I think, it could be a huge letdown, because after getting that close and having that opportunity and blowing it, I mean, man, y'all down 2-0. Like, I think 4 or 5 games, but they definitely, stick a fork in them either way.
Okay, cool.
All right, Austin, what do you think, Austin? Nothing? All right, let's move on then.
Nothing.
Cavaliers. Cool. Cavaliers and Celtics. Cavaliers are the 2 seed versus the 7 seed Boston Celtics. The Cavaliers are up 2-0 on the Celtics, who've been fighting. They haven't just, given up. They go out there and compete. But Cavaliers have been too much. What do you guys think about this series thus far?
I appreciate the Celtics for all that they're attempting to do. I got a lot of respect for their effort. And as opposed to this series ending in 2.5 games, I think it'll go 3.5.
Yo, I just want to say, shout out to the Cavaliers, because in the beginning of the first game, the Celtics were giving them the business. Then they woke up. You know what I'm saying? Then they woke up, and now it looks like the Cavaliers are going to do what we thought they were. I do want to make a public apology to Moses Malone for calling that dude White Moses, because he's just not Moses Malone. But with that being said,
we jumped the gun with the White Moses. We did. But I think that you really are knocking him for some of the same issues that Christina Bosh was having. Like, we know what it was with Bosh, and it's the same thing in Cleveland. I mean, LeBron and Wade, LeBron and
No. It's definitely not the same thing. It's some of the ways I see him, get pushed off the ball. It's a lot of times they leave him in when they take those 2 guys out and try to use him in the post. It's just a lot of things, and you got to go back to our shows. I've been saying this since last year, even watching him before he came to Cleveland. It's just things I noticed in this game, and I'm like, he puts up numbers. He definitely fills the stat sheet up, but it's just like things when you watch him play, and like it's stupid stuff. Like, he'll get pushed off the ball or get a shot blocked, and then the very next time down, and I see him do this 4 times, he'll get a stupid foul. Like, he's upset, gets a stupid foul. He just doesn't have that attitude. Like,
y'all know we jokingly, dubbed him that anyway, and it was really just about the rebound numbers and the stats he was putting up. He never really had a game that resembled anything Moses Malone did in the first place. But
Moses might be the most underrated guy.
Just in case he took it personally, we do have to offer our
definitely. I want to apologize
in case he thought we was for real. We side.
But he's definitely a talented player. I'm not saying he's not talented, because I'm interested to see once the series is over, the season is over, whether he stays or not. But we'll see. But I guess you guys, nobody thinks the Celtics have a chance to do anything, right?
Nah.
They don't think they have a chance to do anything.
Yeah, they got a chance to get their ass whooped real bad. But
all right, here you go. Let's talk about this series. Let's talk about the Raptors and the Wizards, because the Raptors, who had the home court, trailed 2-0 The first game, Paul Pierce drank his noni juice, and then the second game, John Wall just went 8 feces, and the Wizards lead 2-0, which is a shock to me, to be honest with you. What do you guys think about this series?
Yo, this is that series that I thought would be the best series in the East. Now, I know a lot of Washington fans, if you pick against somebody's team, you're hating. But if you pick their team, then they don't say that you're hating on the other team. That's how things go in our business. I actually thought that this was the most even series in the playoffs. So the only reason I picked Toronto was because they had the game 7 on their floor, but it's starting to look like that their home court means absolutely nothing unless they can, slide down to Washington this Friday and get 2 wins there. But yeah, I'm shocked that this series has started. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if it was 1-1. Like, I don't think that Washington can't go up there in the midst of a series and get a win. But to take the first 2, I'm definitely shocked. John Wall played a great game in the second game. I think he is like 26 and 17 or something like that.
26 and yeah.
Their backcourt basically woke up in that second game, and they won the first game without John Wall playing too great of a game. But he's playing well in this playoffs, and he's showing you that he's definitely outplaying Kyle Lowry. And I don't know if that has anything to do with the injury, but he's outplaying.
This is to me what separates like the good basketball player from the great. That first game, and I watched the entire game, he didn't shoot well, but he D'd up like nobody's business. And sometimes when your shot's not falling, you can do other things. And he D'd up like nobody's business. He got Lowry in foul trouble, so he didn't have a great game shooting, but he was out there doing what he could to help his team. And then Paul Pierce just was balling. So I was actually shocked at the way they handled it, because even though the game went in overtime, the Raptors never seemed to have a handle on that game. They were fighting back the entire game. I mean, they went into overtime and barely scored.
I'm on the record as saying what I believe John Wall has the potential to be. And I said within 3 seasons from this season, John Wall will be the best point guard in the world. And I'm not backing off of that. I see the eye of the tiger in this young man. He's got a competitive spirit. He wants to win. He wants to be great. He puts the work in. He can't shoot a gun at a stationary target 4 feet from him, but he's continuing to work tirelessly on that J and his game. And he comes out and tries to contribute in other areas. I just think that he and Bradley Beal need to do this every night. When they find a way to come with this intensity every night, man, they're going to be special. And there was a telling interview at halftime of this game 2 where Bradley Beal said, Toronto is trying to muscle us. They're trying to push us around. They think they're dealing with some punks, and we ain't no punks. We're not going to get pushed around. Shout out to Bradley Beal. Shout out to Bradley Beal, yo. Something about those rap.
Anyway, man, so yeah, that's an interesting series. We didn't see it that way. Listen, Chicago, the Bucks, I don't know if there's anything that needs to be said. Jimmy Butler's coming out party in the playoffs to make himself a household name. Chicago is doing what they got to do. That's what we thought was going to happen. Yeah,
Eastern
let's
Conference
just go to the West.
Let's go to the West.
Yeah, no one thought they would do anything anyway. So let's just jump out to the West and talk about some issues. The Warriors lead the Pelicans 2-0. Any thoughts about this?
Man, it's what I expected it to be, but Anthony Davis is still being the new Anthony Davis because he had a breakout first game. He was almost our stat of the week. I think he was like one of only 5 players in NBA history to have 35 and over 5 rebounds, 35 points and over 5 rebounds in his first playoff game. So, he's still doing his part and doing what he has to do. Yeah, so that's really all I wanted to say about that series personally, because we know what's going to happen. We knew it was going to happen from the door, but Anthony Davis is going to fight until the very last whistle, and I respect him.
One small piece to that, I think Tariq Evans' bone bruise is going to play a factor in the competitiveness of the series. We all knew that Golden State was going to win this series. I think I gave the Pelicans, one game. I think I gave them 1 game off the strength of Anthony Davis, Tariq Evans, and them kind of having some hort and some talent. But if Tariq can't move, which apparently he really can't, they have no chance. They're playing with 1.5 players.
They might play better than Tariq out there and mess it up. But with that being said, man, I really have nothing to say other than the Warriors are playing great basketball. They've been playing great basketball all season, so there's really nothing I can say here. Now, the Rockets lead the Mavericks 2-0. The guy I thought would step out and do his thing, Chandler Parsons, is out for the rest of the playoffs. Rondo's out indefinitely. And my upset pick of the Mavericks is looking real shaky, baby. The Rockets, James Harden doing their thing. What do you guys think about this series?
It's unfortunate that Chandler Parsons isn't going to get to, try to exact a little bit of revenge on his old team. Revenge for what? I don't know. He decided to leave. But at the same time, this series, even though James Harden, and especially in game 2, played much better than we're used to seeing him play, because the game 1 was still shaky, except for the fact that James Harden, even when he's having a bad game, is going to go to the line a million times and salvage any bad shooting that he will ever give you. Game 2 is a little bit better, but I think the story in this series is Rondo. Like it's documented that he and Carlisle don't get along, but Rondo seems like a spoiled brat who isn't afraid to sabotage the whole thing for his personal, for anything that's going on with him personally.
I've heard that, and I've seen that. My question is he hurting himself long term? Like, because you're a free agent, you don't want that.
Exactly, because people are going to be afraid. They're going to think you're a risk, because as soon as things start not going your way, you're going to lash out like a little baby.
Yo, Jimmy and Devin, salute to the Rockets. They're doing what they're supposed to do. And to the Mavs, I feel bad for y'all. Yo, Rajon Rondo, this is my entire commentary for that series. Yo, Rajon Rondo. You should be ashamed of yourself. The way you carry yourself.
Because we know
that dishonorable, man. He's dishonorable because he's out there with teammates.
Yeah, we know the reason that he's not going to play again. It has nothing to do with his back. Like, we've seen Rondo in Boston in playoff situations play through some stuff. Didn't Dwayne Wade damn near break his arm one game, and he still played.
Arm bent back. He played at 90 degrees, and he played with it.
Yeah, he played with KG and them, so he played with the tough Kendrick Perkins. So he's tough from the dudes that he's been around. He has no choice but to be tough. So to say, to say that he's not going to play because of his back, we know what it is. He's not going to play because he keeps throwing hissy fits on the court. He put his team in jeopardy by the little personal thing he had going on with James Harden out on the court and got a technical foul for it. So he was benched in that third quarter. It had nothing to do with his back. He was benched, and he's going to stay benched. Carlisle even admitted Rondo's played his last game for the Dallas Mavericks, and it's a shame because he's a pretty good fit there.
Your teammates. Like, it doesn't even matter what problems you have with the coach, what problems you have with management. You out there with 4 other men. You out there on your team. You out there with 11 other men. No, they didn't.
He don't know them dudes like that either. So.
Yeah, he
don't like them.
He don't hang with them
like that. Them like that either. He like, I don't owe y'all nothing. I heard that he's already openly talking about being a Laker.
Come on, man. Like we need that with that garbage we got out there. if we do that, Kobe gonna find a way to stay out another season. Anyway, man, with that being said, man, Houston has total control of the series. I can't see anything happening, specifically with Parsons and Rondo being out. Like, it's gonna take a miracle. So we shall see what happens, man. Make my pick all effed up. Anyway, let's talk about this series. The Clippers and the Spurs. We saw Cliff and Chris Paul both throw temper tantrums last night. Went ballistic during the game in which the Spurs won. Shout out to Kawhi Leonard for making JJ Redneck just fall out of the screen with the mean fadeaway. But the Spurs have tied that series up at 1 game apiece. Thoughts on this series, gentlemen?
Spoke a little bit about it earlier. I think the Clippers, they definitely blew a nice opportunity to go up 2-0 and put a little bit of a stranglehold on this series, or at least putting pressure on San Antonio going back home to have to hold serve at home and try to come back to LA and get a win. It was crazy. I mean, free throw shooting definitely hurt the Clippers in a game that they probably should have won last night. So they can't blame it on anybody but themselves. But like Phil Maddock was saying when he was on, like the Clippers are the Clippers until they prove otherwise. So I'm still riding on that boat. I still got the Spurs in 6.
Yo, the first game, Blake Griffin looked like Shaquille O'Neal. In the second game, he looked like Charles Shackelford. He went from one Shaq to the other. But they still had opportunities to win that game, like Phil said, man. But the Spurs seem to make the right plays at the right time. Tim Duncan is not Tim Duncan in the old, but he's still like so solid of a player. Like it's just ridiculous. I wonder how long is he going to play, because obviously he doesn't care about not being the old Tim Duncan. He still contributes in big ways and still plays great defense. And so it's just amazing to watch.
I think if they win a chip, it's a wrap here. I don't know if I see in the Spurs what I saw last year to make them a champion, but the Clippers aren't going to be the team that knocks them out, man. Their bench, like we've talked about it all show. We've talked about it on social media. We've talked about it on Court Vision on WarRoomSportsTV.com. Check that out. Listen, man, their bench is a problem. So even if they can get a game or two, I don't see how 3, but even if that bench is going to come into play, because there's too much weight and pressure on one player to hold it down for them. So
and also the offense. To your point about you don't see it in the Spurs, I kind of know what you mean, because just watching like their body language, and I'm not a body language expert, but you can tell a lot of things when you just watch athletes. The way they talk in interviews, it seems like last year they were so intent on getting back at the Heat because of the way they lost the previous year. It's like it's sort of like that was their motivation. Like, we got.
They don't have motivation.
Yeah, at this point it's like, LeBron is in Cleveland. It's like, it's just a different thing. But you can tell last year they were definitely motivated by that Heat lost it the previous year. So anyway, with that being said, we still got the 4 or 5 matchup to wrap about. Let's see, we have the Grizzlies 2-0 against the Blazers. What do you guys think about this? And also that racist sign in the Blazers locker room. They don't lose the Spanish people, man.
This series is another one that, I thought the 4 or 5 matchups are going to be the best series in each. And it doesn't mean because, everybody's down 2-0 that it still can't live up to that. As a matter of fact, there's only the Clippers and the Spurs, and only series where both teams have actually won a game. Everybody's 2-0 at this point. But the Grizzlies are playing that brand of bully ball that we love them for, and so far they're holding serve. I think I misspoke last week and was talking about. I thought that Portland, being the higher seed, was going to have the home court advantage, but that wacky thing that they do with the divisions. The Grizzlies actually have the home court advantage. And I thought that the Grizzlies would win in 7, but have to go to Portland to do it. And I'm even more confident about my pick now that if it goes to a game 7, it'll be in Memphis. So, they've held serve so far. But as far as that whole thing in the locker room, I can't call it. Because it was one of a lot of pictures that they had up. But when they said we don't lose the Spanish people, of course, they were taking shots at Marc Gasol. But I can't sit here and be a hypocrite and say that it's nothing wrong with it, because if that joint said we don't lose the black people, myself, y'all, and probably everybody else would have lost their mind. So I can understand. Marc Gasol isn't saying that he's salty about it, but I can see how it would be an issue. They're trying to say because it was a set of everything.
How does no one step in and say, no, we shouldn't put that up there?
Yeah, let's not put that one up there, though. Because even if it's something that we all know what it means and we're saying something in jest, let's just leave that one alone, because once the news
put his name up there, we don't lose. They could have said we don't lose to none of the Gasol brothers or something like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, man, with that being said, those are the problem. Oh, yes,
my problem with Portland is going to come down to Damian Lillard. I'm a huge fan of his game. Dude, you are the new James Harden on defense. Think about that.
Okay, I have nothing else to say about that, because we got to get through these year awards, give our awards again, people.
We just gonna go rapid fire, people. Tell them,
Jim,
Jim,
I'm gonna go first. I'm gonna go first.
Our in-depth analysis. They can find that.
Our
on
in-depth analysis definitely can be found on WarRoomSportsTV.com.
Mm-hmm.
Also, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/WarRoomSports. But you can check all that out there on Court Vision. I'll be very brief.
Which will be out this evening.
Coach of the year, the Hawks coach. Most improved player. I'm not going to say his name because I don't want to butcher it. Most improved player, I have Jimmy Butler. The sixth man of the year, Isaiah Thomas. Defensive player of the year, Draymond Green. Rookie of the year, I have Andrew Wiggins. Most valuable player, I have James Harden. All right. Who wants to go next?
I'll go next. And like I said, I think we didn't put this in as a category, but I think we all can agree that executive of the year should go to LeBron James.
Absolutely.
Coach of the year, I'm gonna go as well. Mike Budenholzer from the Atlanta Hawks. Most improved player, I'm gonna go Jimmy Butler as well. Shout out to Anthony Davis because dude is still improving at a scary rate, and I think he could also get this award. But I'm gonna go Jimmy Butler. Sixth man of the year, Isaiah Thomas. I think he was robbed. Shout out to Lou Will because I am a Lou Will fan, but Isaiah Thomas probably should have gotten that. Defensive player of the year, I'm gonna go Draymond Green as well. Rookie of the year, Andrew Wiggins, and my MVP, also Fear the Beard Gang in the house, James Harden. And just to add one little thing to that, if the Spurs would have won that game on the last game of the season, I would have given my vote to Russell Westbrook, no matter what. But I can't.
I just realized we got the same exact pick for everything, yo.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble. Here are B. Austin's awards. Coach of the year goes to Steve Kerr. Shout out to my man Penny Hosen in Atlanta. You did a great job. Most improved player is definitely Jimmy Butler. My man got the coolie high work with the hairdo. He's giving out work. Shout out to you. Sixth man of the year.
Increased his scoring average by 7 points.
Sixth man of the year is and always will be until he either retires or drops under 10 points a game, Jamal Crawford. Defensive player of the year for me is DeAndre Jordan, although I give a shout out and salute to both Kawhi Leonard and Draymond. I know his name is Draymond, but I call him Draymond Green. Rookie of the year is definitely rookie of the year is definitely Wiggins. I've seen this young man get better every game, like in every game.
Be wigging on people, man.
MVP.
You said he gets better in the games, like from
in the game, like from the beginning of the game to first quarter through third. He's a better player for it.
Yo, my man gets better doing TV timeouts.
And the MVP. Listen, we are all members of the Beard Gang. If your dad didn't have a beard growing up, you had two moms. If your boyfriend doesn't have a beard, you're a lesbian. Yo, James Harden for most valuable player of the year. And I'm done.
Absolutely. I mean, that's
bitches.
a wrap, man. I mean, so anyway, man, this has been an interesting playoff thus far, man. We got games tonight, but it's time to get out of here, y'all. Anyway, thanks for joining us again in the War Room, good people. Shout out to everybody in the chat room, those on Facebook and Twitter. The calls we got to, we definitely appreciate the support. As always, the ones we didn't get to, we apologize. Check with us next week. Special thanks to our guests, Nakasha Wells and Fred Perdue. We will be checking out that tea as well as, that other Get Right potion she talked about. Tune in next week, same time, same place, live right here on demand on the WRS Podcast Network for more great sports talk. We'll be live on the air for the start of the 2015 NFL Draft. We'll also check in on the progress of the NBA playoffs, and of course, we'll discuss all of the big stories from the world of sports. So until then, enjoy your week. We'll see you right back here next time. Catch our conversations on all social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We're at War Room Sports. Also, check out our blogs, our webcasts, and network podcasts on warroomsports.com. Until next time, everybody, don't accept mediocrity. Be steadfast in the war against ignorance, and we'll see you chumps on top.
See you chumps on top. Sipping our tea over here.
6 to 8. Yeah. War Room Sports. Y'all ready? Let's go. Stay in tune to Jimmy. know the blueprint. Every Thursday, 6 to 8, they do this. Shout out to Dev, PJ, B. Austin, Doc Bay on replay. WarRoomSports.com. Get that mobile app. If not, dial 323-140012. They be going and you sensitive, then oh well. Physical podcast, let's talk sports. Showtime like magic in the box course. Listen live, push one to join in. Rip your team or listen for your enjoyment. Hip hop scholars, pit stop and knowledge. Should be in sports credits, I ain't talking college. 5 guys, no beef though. Corporate secret, but the streets know. Belafonte, I got a G flow. KC royalty, I'm in beast mode. 2 hours, get your game up. Who's the best in sportscast? You better name us. War Room Sports. Yeah, you know, Jimmy, Dev, DJ, Jack Beck, B. Austin. I'm Jack. Up and coming on the beat.
War Room Sports, www.warroomsports.com. What? Ain't no more to it.